Welcome back, Joe Brunsman, Insurance Broker to the Stars. Today, I'm actually not talking about insurance. As you can see in front of you, I've gotten a lot of questions from business owners about how and why I make videos. So this is like a content marketing step-by-step guide for all of you other SMBs out there. Now, these are some of the questions that I've gotten. Well, what if I just hate sales? I hate selling. I love my business. I love the subject matter. I just cannot for the life of me pick up the phone. Well, I'm an insurance guy. Cold calling to me is, one, I think it's unethical, but two, it's just death. I just can't do it. It's absolutely terrible. In which case, if you're in that same boat, yeah, videos are a great idea for you. Now, what if you're like, hey, I want to do this video content, but I'm just awkward in front of the camera? Well, as I stare at the unblinking eye of my robot overlord here, which is my camera, I would say if you go back to my original videos, those are kind of cringy, pretty awkward, not very well put together, but over time I got a lot better, so it's not too bad. And I've had people reach out to me and they go, hey, you don't have a super slick production, but I appreciate the fact that it's like you're sitting in my living room and we're just having a conversation. So don't worry too much about it, you'll get there. What if you're not a people person? I get that a lot from people in tech where they're like, the reason I went into tech was because I'm not a people person. Giving a presentation in front of 50 people in a live audience is something that would just be absolutely exhausting to them and they don't want to do it. In which case, hey, videos, yeah, it's a great alternative for you. What if you don't know what to talk about? You're like, hey, I'm a business owner, I do this thing, but I don't even know where to start. How do I pick out topics? How do you do that? Well, I'm going to tell you precisely how I do it. If you don't know how to edit videos, you'll see my videos very rarely do you see jumps in my particular videos, because what I do is I just go from beginning to end. And you'll hear me cough, you'll see me scratch my face, whatever, it's not that big of a deal. So you don't have to be super interested in editing videos or super sophisticated in that area. If you're really concerned about it, I'm sure you can just outsource that for a nominal amount of money to someone who's on the internet. Now, why did I pick videos? Well, first off, I tried damn near everything before I ever made a YouTube video, and just kind of by dumb luck, I actually stumbled into doing this, but not for the reasons you'd think. First off, videos are very time efficient. So I can go from a concept to a published video generally about an hour and a half, and that includes sketching it out and doing all the research behind it to try to validate or refute any of the points that I'm going to be talking about. Next, you could really just reach more people. So I've had people from all over the country call me. Thankfully, I'm a nationwide insurance broker, not the company. I do insurance for companies across the nation. Let me clarify that. And it's just an easy way to help more people. And frankly, I really enjoy helping more people. I enjoy spreading all the knowledge that I have built up in this area because it's not, really available to most businesses yet. So I'm doing what I can to just help more people. And I think that's nice. It's also a lot easier to make. So I've published, written entire books on my own. So it's 3 books completely on my own. I contributed to a 4th book that's coming out here shortly. I've been published, maybe a dozen times in nationwide magazines. And that kind of stuff, it just takes a really long time to do that. So even, say, a short article in a nationwide magazine, it could be 6 months from submission to actual publication. There's all this stuff in between. And, eventually by the time you do that, you really kind of have to hope and pray that maybe the case law hasn't changed or the circumstance hasn't changed. So let's say you put in an article before the pandemic and then it doesn't get published till the middle of the pandemic. Well, hey, the world has entirely changed. And now you spend a whole lot of time doing something that maybe looks impressive, but if people read it, they're going to go, this has nothing to do with my current circumstance. So videos are great because they're quick and easy to make. And more people are watching videos every year. So from just a practical standpoint, people are searching out videos because it seems like, as much as I enjoy reading and I read every day, more and more people just want to see a video and get the information that way. I'd also say that, just from kind of a personal note here, I think it creates a lot of trust and builds a relationship with people before they ever even contact me. So I've had people that contact me, and keep in mind, I'm an insurance guy. I do E&O Insurance and Cyber Insurance. People reach out to me and they're like, hey, I've watched, all of your videos. What you're doing is great. Let's do business. That's an awesome position to be in as an insurance guy because 99% of the other insurance people out there, they're just cold calling, the whole calling for dollars thing. And that is not a way that I want to live my life or run my business. So with that, it also really establishes that relationship and it helps cement it over time, because people have come to me. They're like, hey, I want to work with you. I see what you're doing. I really enjoy it. Let's do business together. And then over time, they see all the new videos that I'm putting out and they go, wow, I trust this guy because, hey, even if that video is not pertinent to what is my circumstance, he's staying on top of this subject material. So I know that that's the guy for me. So yeah, maybe it costs a little more to do business with Joe, right? But he's trying to do the right thing and he's staying on top of this. So I could save money, but I want to work with someone who actually is invested in this particular material. So I find that very useful. Next, the videos you're going to make, they could be reused. So, you're never going to know when someone's going to contact you and, hey, that's a video you made last week. You could just shoot them the video. Very efficient use of your time, and you can reuse those videos over and over again. Also, maybe you're going to make a video and it just doesn't really do well that week. And then a week later, it becomes a bigger deal because something happened in the news and now way more people are watching it. Well, you can essentially be marketing your business and creating those relationships while you're sleeping. So I think it's a very, very good idea. It also reinforces my own knowledge and it'll reinforce your knowledge. So before I ever put anything out on the internet, being a kid who grew up with the internet and grew up with technology, the internet is forever. And the last thing I want to do from an ethical perspective is put out the wrong information, right? I'm deathly afraid of doing that. But two, I don't want to say anything stupid. Now, I don't mind looking stupid. That's different. But saying something stupid, saying something wrong that's going to get someone in trouble, I'm very, very sensitive to making sure I'm not doing that. So when I'm sketching out those videos, I'm trying to go back and just make sure, okay, is there something I'm missing here? These are the ideas I'm putting in the video. Is there anything new that would refute this idea? And in a couple circumstances, what I thought was true turned out it wasn't. And with that, hey, that's great because now I update my knowledge and I can keep everyone out there who's watching my videos a lot safer. Now, what's the process? What's the step-by-step guide on how I make a video? First, let's talk about topics. Anything I find interesting or relevant to my particular niche, I'm going to make a video on that. Now, is it going to get 1,000 views? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. That's not really what I'm concerned about. But anything interesting and relevant, and hey, over time, I'm going to reuse that video over and over again because I'm pretty sure people are going to ask me those same questions. Next, I have something called the rule of 3, and this is just something that you could probably sketch out or just make over time. Anytime 3 different people ask me the same question, I'm like, that's a great idea for a video. Why? Well, one person probably did 0 research, and they were like, Joe's my guy, he's got to know. I'll just call him. The second person probably did some very rudimentary research and they were like, I can't find anything. I'm just calling Joe. The third person probably searched to the ends of the earth, couldn't find anything relevant to that question. And, they're always kind of like the nervous people who, they're like, I don't want to look foolish. I don't want to ask a crazy question. I don't want to ask something that's blatantly obvious. By the time that third person calls me, I'm pretty sure that type of material isn't out there. It also means that, hey, maybe a bunch of my other clients have that same question or they're going to have that same question. So, hey, that's a great idea for a video. So it's not just like SEO topics where you can download those SEO terms, but it's things that I think are going to be relevant or are currently relevant to my client base and my particular niche of knowledge. I also have just kind of a running list in my head, and these are things, I won't bore you with details, but it's things that, I just have not been able to figure out yet, and I'm constantly trying to figure out. And by the time, if I do get to the point where I can figure that thing out, I'm going to make a video on it to, once again, reinforce my knowledge and advise all of my clients. Format I use, believe it or not, this is just PowerPoint, nothing fancy, nothing special. The background pictures I use, those are all Unsplash or Pixabay, and I think it just kind of keeps it visually interesting as opposed to Times New Roman 12-point font, which is the death of everybody out there. Recording software is Loom. When I got it, it was like $8 a month or something like that. There's a bunch of other software you could use. Camera, it's literally the one that came with my computer. So I pop it down, it pops back up, and that's what I got. I could use some super fancy camera or some super fancy editing software, et cetera, but maybe over time I'll get there. But for the time being, I'm more interested in helping people and running my business as opposed to becoming a video editing expert. And if I really wanted to do that, I'd probably just outsource it and you could do the same. Now, people ask me, okay, what about intros, outros, all this other fancy stuff? Some of it you're just going to learn over time, like the little cards that'll pop up. You're just kind of going to learn that anyways, but I'm not super interested. Anytime I get to, watch a video in my free time and I'm trying to find an answer to a question and it's like a 30-second intro, it just annoys me to death. I just want to find the answer. So I try to keep my videos hopefully as short as possible. This one will ideally be under 20 minutes, probably more like 15 as I look at the counter there. But I'm not super interested in putting the fancy stuff out there. I think it personally annoys me, so I just don't really do it. Now, eternal truths of content marketing. Let's talk about this because I think it's important. First off, I'd say you have to enjoy helping people. And if that's just not what you enjoy doing, if you're just not passionate about getting that material across to help other people, I think it's really going to show through. There's a lot of content marketing that I've seen out there where I'm trying to answer a question and it's just blatantly obvious that it is a thinly veiled sales pitch, which I really believe that, if I need a solution to a problem, I'm going to go get that person, right? They don't have to come get me. And I just find it annoying when it's this thinly veiled sales pitch and I'm like, okay, let's get past the sales pitch. I just want to know the information. Next, just find your niche, whatever it is that you're particularly passionate about. So it could just be something that, you read about on your free time. So like for me, insurance and cybersecurity law, I just find it personally interesting. I have no idea why. Everybody thinks I'm a giant nerd. Joke's on them. I am a nerd, but that's just my particular niche. So if I had to talk about like employment law, dear God, that would be painful. I don't want to do it. I don't want to make that video. I don't think anybody would want to watch that because it's just not something that I really enjoy and I'm passionate about. And you would be able to tell if I'm making a video about something that I could just care less about, it's really going to shine through. So make sure you're not doing that. You also have to understand that you're probably going to get more views than people are going to buy from you or contact your business. And that's not really necessarily a bad thing because one, you're making the world a better place, which I think is very, very important. And two, there's not like a one-to-one view to sales relationship. Sometimes it's going to take people multiple videos, multiple months before they ever reach out to you. And that's totally fine. Maybe you're going to make a video, you send it to some person and like they never contact you because it turns out, hey, that's not a problem that they're trying to solve, or they're just not at a stage in their business where that's an issue that they want to focus on. But hey, maybe they're going to send it to their buddy and maybe that guy's going to do the same thing. And he goes, I appreciate the guy who sent it to me. That's not really what I'm concerned about, but I know somebody who is. So you'd be shocked, like when you start getting these inbound leads and people want to work with you and you're like, yeah, where'd you hear from? How'd you hear about me? Where'd you get my content from? And they're like, I don't know, like so-and-so sent it to so-and-so, or like it ended up popping up on this group that I'm a part of from this person. And you're like, I've never even heard of that person. They're not a subscriber of mine. I have no idea who that is. You'd be shocked where your stuff goes, but ultimately you're going to be helping a lot of people, which is really, really good. Also, just make useful content. And that's why I really try to use that rule of 3 or anything that's relevant to my particular niche. Diving down the rabbit hole of like SEO keywords. I mean, okay, yeah, there's a place for that. But you got to think you're also just going to be competing with everybody else who is trying to rank on that particular search term. Whereas if you're just making useful content, I firmly believe, and I've seen it in my own business, that over time, it's just going to pay dividends. So don't worry so much about hitting all those specific keywords, but maybe you want to take that keyword and that kind of points you down maybe something that's tangential to that specific keyword, that someone specifically having that problem, they're going to go, that's my guy. I got to reach out to that person. He has the answer for me. If you ever get a chance, you'll see your videos kind of pop up everywhere. So I put my videos on Reddit. I put it on LinkedIn. Obviously they're on YouTube, and eventually I'll get on Facebook and kind of some other places. But when people add comments, that's a great opportunity for you to add clarity, add value, create that relationship. And hey, sometimes they're going to ask another question like, well, what about X? hey, that's a great opportunity to connect with that person or make another video because certainly somebody else has that same question. And not every video is going to be a hit. Don't worry about that. Don't get so wrapped up in like, subscriber counts and page views and hours watched. I mean, it's kind of cool. It's an interesting metric. But at the end of the day, it's just an interesting journey. So if you look at this, people ask me, has it been successful? And this is actually directly from my YouTube channel as of this afternoon. And you'll see, I've gotten almost 11,000 views. That's cool. I've gotten, coming up here on about 650 hours of watch time and 245 subscribers, which is 244 more than I ever thought I'd get because my wife subscribed just to be a darling. But you'll see the bottom line there in blue. Those are views. So some videos I make, hey man, they do outstanding. Sometimes I made 6 videos in that one particular period and did nothing. And then one time I made 2 videos in that period and it shot through the roof. I've made videos that get over, 900 views. They've had over 1,500 views, I think, cumulatively. And then some videos I've made where I'm like, hey, this is really important that people know this. And it's gotten like 50 views, but I can reuse that videos. People over time, they're going to reach out to it and they're going to see that information and hopefully reach out to me if they think I'm a person that they want to work with and that, I have a solution to a problem they have. And it's totally fine. So I think as long as you're helping the most people possible, I'm very, very confident. I've seen it in my own business that the rewards will come your way. Now, moving forward here, I have a lot of work to do in this area. I am not saying that I am some SEO content marketing guru. I was just trying to show you guys how it was that I actually do what I do. So SEO, video editing, some optimization stuff. I am not the be all end all. I'm still learning a lot here, but suffice to say, I'm putting myself out there. I'm making videos. I'm trying to help as many people as I possibly can. I think it's done wonders for my business. And you could do the same thing. So like if you're an MSP, reach out to say Stuart Crawford of Eulistic, for example. He can answer all those SEO questions and what needs to be on a thumbnail and how to do it. If you're not an MSP and let's say you're a law firm and you're watching this, there's somebody analogous to Stu out there. If you're an accounting firm, you're trying to do marketing, content marketing, I'm sure there's somebody else that's filling that niche out there. So just reach out so you can make the content. You know better than anybody else what it is that people actually need to know. And then from there, everything else is really just details. So don't get super, wound up in, I have to have all of these, 1,000 different pieces figured out before I start making something. Just make something, right? I use PowerPoint. It's free. You could do the same thing. There's nothing to say you can't. You can play around with fonts. You're going to learn a lot of stuff. But I would encourage you, just if you're thinking about jumping down this path, go ahead and do it. I think it'll work out well for you. All right, with that, this is Damage Control, Cyber Insurance Compliance. That is where you can download it for free. That is what I actually do. If you enjoyed this video, like, share, comment, subscribe. If you have another business owner out there you're friends with and they're thinking about going down the content marketing path, please feel free to share this video with them. If there's something I didn't answer, feel free to leave a comment below and I will do my best to answer that. And with that, stay safe.